Are you actually lifting hard enough for recomp? It's going to hit a little different probably tonight. This is something we don't talk about probably enough. So this isn't about carbs or hormones or supplements. We're going straight into something that really could be holding a lot of you back and you not even realizing it. Okay. Are you actually lifting hard enough to recomp your body? So I've had ladies get a little bit upset with me about talking about lifting. I don't ever want to offend anybody, but I do want to push you. Before we go there, I just want to say I'm proud of you ladies. I'm proud of you for showing up. I know how hard it is to be consistent. You're doing the workouts, you're tracking the food, you're trying to get your water in, but some of you aren't seeing the physical changes that you want. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And this might be the problem because there's a difference between working out and training. All right. There's a difference between I'm moving my body and I'm pushing it to adapt. And I want you to hear that last line. I'm pushing it to adapt. Adapt to what? Adapt to a heavier weight. Okay. I'm pushing it to adapt to being able to lift heavier weights. What is body recomp? What does that even mean? Like, if you want to get leaner and you want to build muscle, that is body recomp. Okay. And that takes intensity. Whoa, it really does. It takes strategy. And that takes tracking, not just your food. It takes tracking your food, but it takes tracking your weight. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute. That takes really the kind of effort that you just can't fake it. And here's why this matters. This is the truth about body recomp. And let's get real clear on it. Fat loss and muscle building are two separate things. You can lose weight and you can still feel soft and shapeless and tired. And that's where I was. I was in the gym, I was working out, I was losing weight. Of course, I wasn't eating right. I wasn't eating enough protein. I didn't understand how to balance my blood sugar, all the things that I needed to learn, right? And I worked out for several years and I thought, whoa, I just must not be able to build muscle. What's wrong with me? You know, my body was still soft and I was not able to build muscle. And I just thought, must be old age, must just be how I am. I just must not have the genetics to do it, you know? And I felt shapeless. Of course, you guys saw how many times am I going to show flat butt pictures, right? I remember walking into Walmart and my daughter's behind me and she's very funny. She's very kind and loving. She wasn't saying it to be mean, but she's laughing. She goes, Mom, you need some syrup. And I said, syrup? Syrup? What are you talking about? We're walking into Walmart. What do I need some syrup for? And, because I ate low carb, you know, syrup didn't make sense. What is she talking about? She goes, for that pancake ass of yours. And I was like, oh, don't say that. She laughed. She thought that was great. She came up with something funny. You can build muscle and get stronger too, but still not look lean. And that means your food isn't right. Okay. So I've gone to the gym and I've seen people that have lifted for years and they have a lot of body fat. And I'm like, something is wrong there. You know what it is? Diet. It's diet. So recomp is doing both, getting leaner and building muscle, losing fat, but building that visible muscle. And building muscle reshapes your body. It doesn't just shrink your body. So when I lost weight in the beginning, I just became a smaller version of what my body looked big. I really did. Just a smaller version of it. I had a little less belly. My butt was still flat. And I didn't reshape my body, but body recomp means you're reshaping your body. You're not just shrinking it. That's how these ladies you see that compete. And of course, we don't want to look, most of us would say, we don't want to look muscle bound like a dude, right? That's almost impossible without steroids. And I'm being really, really honest with you guys. When you see somebody like that, that looks like a dude, girl, they're cheating on something. Something I don't want to be involved with, right? But for us to reshape our body, we don't need steroids. And we can't be afraid of it because we're not going to look like a dude. I lift heavy, 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 heavy weights. And I'm reshaping my body by doing it into a much more curvaceous looking figure. Bringing the waist in, taking the hips out, taking the butt out, making my chest wider, my back wider. So it gives you that hourglass kind of shape. And that's what lifting heavy can do if your food is right as well. And that takes a really specific kind of stimulus, ladies. The body will not grow unless you give it a reason. If the weights you're lifting aren't heavy enough to challenge you, your muscles, they're not going to change. And that's just period. They are not. You can do perfect workouts with perfect form. And if you're not lifting enough weight or progressing, you're going to plateau right there. So maybe you start out with 5-pound weights and they feel really heavy. Your muscle might have to grow to make that, to be challenged by that. It's going to have to grow. But then it just plateaus right there. So if you've been asking, why am I not seeing definition? Why do I still feel squishy? I don't understand it. I don't see much change in the mirror. I want you to know this is really, and you're following your diet, this is really your answer. It's not about doing more, really. It's about doing better. And I wanted to give you guys the top signs that you're not training hard enough. So let's break it down. Here's the red flags. You're still using the same weight you started with. So let's say you're starting at home and you just have 5-pound weights and you're still using them and it's two months later. You're not going to progress like that. You're not going to build muscle like that. If you started with 8-pound dumbbells for your shoulder presses and 3 months later, you're still using those eights, your body has nothing new to respond to. It will plateau. That's not progressive overload. That's maintenance. That's just keeping what you've got. All right? That's keeping the muscle you've already built. It's not growing more muscle. Muscle grows when your body senses stress. And when you put a lot of weight on a muscle, that stresses the muscle out. And then your muscle has to adapt to handle that better in the future. It says, well, Michelle's going to give me 20-pound curls. Are you kidding me? Whoa, that's heavy, right? She's giving me 20-pound curls. Your muscle tissue will break down under that. And your body says, I've got to prepare. This could happen to me again. This is my logic of how it thinks, how your brain thinks. It's how mine thinks. I've got to prepare. I might have to lift this again. And your muscle goes, I've got to get bigger in case this happens to me again. And if you don't challenge it, there's just not going to be a change. Here's another red flag. You stop when it starts to feel hard, not when you hit failure. All right? Ooh, failure doesn't mean that you're falling over or you're sacrificing your form. Failure means you couldn't do one more clean rep with proper form. If you're stopping every set, ladies, with 5 or 6 reps still in the tank, you're not close enough to the growth zone. You're really not. Those last 2 or 3 reps should really feel like, whew, I don't know if I can do it. This is a grind. Another thing, a red flag, listen to me. If you're not logging your lifts. So if I ask you what weight you used last week on your RDLs or your chest presses or something like that, could you tell me? If not, ladies, you're not training. You're just working out. Because muscle growth is progressive. You've got to know that you're getting stronger. We could go in and we could just go through the motions and work out all the time and still not get those body changes. You've got to push yourself. You've got to go to another level. So If you don't know what you did last week, how can you beat it this week? If your log looked like this, week 1, 15-pound goblet squats, week 4, 15-pound goblet squats, then your body has no reason to improve. It can do the work, but it doesn't have to adapt to something heavier, a challenge, right? And number 4 is you finish your workouts without feeling challenged. Workouts shouldn't leave you destroyed, but you definitely should feel like you worked. And sometimes workouts have left me feeling destroyed, truthfully. You got to feel like you worked out. Not every day is going to be a 10 out of 10, and that is for sure. But listen to me. If I see you marking your workouts a 5 or a 6 all the time, that's not on me. It's not that the workouts I gave you weren't hard enough. I remember one time I had this lady, and I gave her, and I've told this before again and again, I gave her an Arnold Schwarzenegger workout. I really did. I mean, she had deadlift, she had squats, she had all the stuff. And I will tell you, she told me, she said, Allie, these workouts are just easy. They're just too easy. And I was like, what? What did I mess up? Did I give her? I always give hard workouts. Let me go check this out. I go over and she's using 5-pound dumbbells for deadlifts and squats. And I'm like, oh, you've got to get stronger than that. She goes, well, I forget how old she was. I think she's in her early 50s. She told me her age, and I'm like, well, I'm older than you. Come on, let's go. Let's go. We're not too old. We can, a gallon jug of milk is 8 pounds, and you're over here working out with 5. What if you have to lift a gallon jug of milk? And let's lift that thing. Let's lift that puppy up. And here's what you should be feeling if you're training right, ladies. Let's flip it. This is what it should feel like when you're training hard enough, all right? And this is a question I get all the time. Your last rep of a set, it should feel like a fight. It really should. But your form holds. So you're holding on to your form, and you're really just having to fight to get those reps in. And you feel mentally challenged, truthfully, you do. I sit there and I have battles with myself sometimes. Like I have to tell myself, you're stronger than you think. You're stronger than you think. You're stronger than you think. I tell myself that all the time, because I remember I went into the gym, and I've told this story a lot too. And I told Wade I was feeling really weak, and I didn't know that I could lift that much that day. And I saw, I was even lifting. And I said, it's not going well. And I telling him about it. He goes, Allie, it's all in your mind. Let's try it. I thought, he goes, I just don't want you. I want you to turn your back away from the mirror. You put your back to the mirror, and you're going to do squats. And I'm going to put weight on, and I'm not going to tell you how much it is. And I thought, oh, great. He goes, I don't want you looking. So he started putting it on there, and I squatted. He goes, great job. Was that hard? And I said, yeah, it was. He said, well, we can go heavier than that. And he kept doing it to me. And he goes, Allie, you're stronger than that. Push the weight. And I started pushing it. He goes, keep your form, push the weight. And for the first time, I hit 270-pound squats on one of my weakest days. And it was my heaviest squat ever. And I realized my mind limited me. And our minds can limit us, not just in the gym, but in every area of our life. We play small. We're so much stronger than we think, not just physically, ladies. This is the real world. You're so much stronger than you think. And one of the reasons the gym changed my life so much, ladies, is because I realized I was playing small in every area of my life. And maybe you feel that way too. Or you wonder, am I playing small? Am I smarter than I think? Am I stronger than I think? Can I do more than I think? And I will challenge you today. I will challenge you with that. Because sometimes I think at the age of 50 and at the age of 60 and 70, whatever age we are, we've got these built-in limitations. I've never done it. There's just no way I could do that kind of mentality. I want you to break out of that, not just in the gym, but I want you to break out of that in your life. Don't let it stop you. Don't let those imaginary weaknesses and those imaginary bad days where you think you can't stop you from doing something you can actually do. When you're in the gym, you should question whether you can finish, but you can. You should question it. I question it all the time. When you leave the gym or your home workout, I want you to feel a sense of accomplishment, not just sweaty, but to feel a sense of accomplishment. You're tracking your lifts and you're intentionally pushing to beat those last numbers. That's how you win at this. You win when your muscles feel stimulated, not just tired. You're not just going through the motions when you go in the gym. Ladies, you're lifting with purpose. You aren't just getting the workout done. You're lifting with purpose. So here's how you train smarter. You train harder and smarter, I guess is what I want to say. Here's what I want you to do, and I want you to start this immediately. Number one, I want you to log your lifts every session. That includes if you're doing home workouts, if I've got you on a Caroline Gervin workout or something like that. If you've been lifting those 10s for a while, I want you to go to the store or somewhere online and order you some 12s or some 15s. And I want you to start challenge yourself. And about a month in, I want you to get some 20s and start challenging yourself. Then some 25s. Really start challenging yourself to get stronger. Log those lifts all the time. And I want you to log your lifts inside of our app. You can do that with your workout. Did you know that? If you're not doing it, you need to be. Or at least use a notebook. You can get a notebook and just write it down on squats, write the date and how much you lifted and how many reps you did and how many sets. You can put it on your phone if you want to. It doesn't matter. You just need to get it written down so you can challenge yourself and make sure that you're getting stronger. Number two, I want you to push yourself to increase either your weight or your reps every week to every 2 weeks. Okay, if you hit like 3 sets of 10 reps at 20 pounds, let's say you're doing 3 sets of 10 reps at 20 pounds. The next time, I want you to go for 25 pounds, right? So you're bringing it up 5 pounds, or instead of doing 10 reps, if you can't lift 25 pounds yet, then do 12 reps. So add some more reps, all right? So you're either going to add more reps or you're going to add more weight, all right? And that's what we call progressive overload. That's what it means, okay? And that is how your body changes shape. Did you know that? That's how you change the shape of your body when your food is right. You continually get stronger. Number three, I want you to aim for 2 to 3 reps away from failure on every main lift. By main lift, I mean squats, deadlifts, those big compound movements. You should finish every set thinking, I maybe had 1 more rep. If you could do 5 more reps, ladies, it was just too light, okay? And I want you to choose heavier weights. This is number 4. Choose heavier weights for compound movements. That's squats, deadlifts, presses, rows. Those should really challenge you. If you're doing 10 pounds on a deadlift, you're just a beginner. You really are. You're just starting month 1. All right? Unless you've got a physical issue, even at 70 years old, you're in month 1. All right? 10 pounds on a deadlift, man, a gallon of milk is 8. You fall on the floor, you're going to have to pick yourself up, push yourself up or something. 10 pounds is nothing. I want you to think of that. You know, what if you've got a grandchild on the ground, right? They're usually more than 10 pounds. We've got to be able to pick things up, right? If I hear one more woman in this world say, I just need to tone up. That sounds so sweet. Allie, I just need to do some toning. I hear that all the time. You guys, and this lady tells me, she tells me I lost 75 pounds. And I'm like, that is great. She goes, I just need to tone up. I just need to do some toning. And I'm like, girl, you're going to work your ass off to do that. That's called getting in the gym and pushing like a beast. That's what it's called. And you're going to start out and think, this is crazy. I can't do it. I'm too weak. I can't do it. I was so weak, ladies. I understand. But just like I said, that you start out maybe with 10 pounds and then you go to 15, or you do more reps. Maybe you can't go to 15 yet and you up your reps. I remember putting a bar on my back and it was 45 pounds without any weight on it. And I tried to squat and I thought I was just going to flip. I thought I was going to fall backwards. There's never any way that I'm going to be able to do this. I thought I can never squat 45 pounds. There is no way. I couldn't balance the thing. And then before you know, I kept trying. And finally I could squat with 45 pounds. Then I thought I'll put 5 pounds weight on each side. I did. Those weights are so small. But I put 10 pounds. Then I had 55 pounds on my back. I got up to 90 pounds and I thought I was big time. I thought, oh my gosh, I got to 90 pounds and I stayed at 90 pounds, stayed at 90 pounds, stayed there, stayed there. And I thought, I'll never get 100 pounds. There's no way. I'm just not ever going to be strong enough to do that. And I started challenging myself. And one day I hit 270 pounds, right? Big deal. So leave the light toning weights for warm-ups, girls. The pink and blue weights, leave them for warm-ups. All right. You can use those for warm-ups. Don't throw them out. They'd be great for that. Or accessory moves. And by accessory moves, I mean not the big movements like the squats and the deadlifts and all that. I'm talking about for, side laterals or something. You never want to do heavy weights for a side lateral. You're just going to rip your shoulder out of its joint. You're going to hurt yourself. Remember, that's a little tiny muscle. You don't want to be doing 20-pound side laterals. Woo, right? 10 pounds is heavy for side laterals. So leave those toning weights, those beautiful little light toning weights for your warm-ups. And listen, I am not here to make you ladies feel bad. I'm not. I'm not here to make you feel bad. I'm here to help you level up. You came on with goals. And here's the thing. I've been where you are. And I know you can do this. You're not fragile. You're not too old. Did you hear me? You're not fragile. You're not too old. You're not behind. You're just too safe. And safe doesn't change your body. It doesn't. You have to want this enough to get uncomfortable. Okay? And because right there, that's where growth is. In your muscles, but not just in your muscles, in your mindset. So here's your assignment for the week. All right. I want you to pick one lift that you know you've been playing it safe on. One that you understand your form on. Okay. And I want you to take that lift and I want you to go heavier. I want you to push yourself. I want you to keep your form. And I want you to hit the effort zone. Then I want you to log it in the app. And I want you to put it in the accountability group. And I want you to let everybody know what you did. I think that's so important. I want you to let us know what you did and how it felt. And if you need any help or have any questions about it, you can drop it there and we'll answer you. But I want to see you dropping it in that accountability group because I want you to be proud of yourself and I want other ladies to celebrate you. Also, I want them to see you do it because it will encourage them that they can too. You know, they talk about these races and how that people break these records all the time running races. And there's times when they say, you can't run this fast in this amount of time. And they will say that for many, many years. And all of a sudden, someone will step out onto the track and be every record. And what they said couldn't be done is done. But what happens after that? Many people hit that same place. You know why? Because the limited mindset is broken. Well, if he did it or she did it, I can do that. And they begin to believe. And that's why I want you to share so that you can get a pat on the back because you deserve it, but so that other women can see you do it and believe. Ladies, you didn't come here just to work out. You came to change your body and you came to rebuild your strength. We've got to train like that.